I suppose the big question currently is, how will Julian cope? We only need to listen to what Julian Cope actually wrote. He was the songwriter and lead singer of a band in the 1980s called TEARDROP Explodes. And the album is called Kill-a-Man-giro. Have a little play with the words. There is no coincidence to anything. It's all quite swell, really. Let me show you. Not just tell you, let me show you. Here's the before. Now, that's one hand. But a little bit of bee Botox and look, all the lines and everything have gone. Isn't it amazing? I also got stung right there, so I'm glad I've not. That's not swelled up. That happened in the sort of reconstruction of the canopy. Actually, let's go and have a look at that. I'm going to show you that, because it's far more than it would first appear. So you've seen this on video before. Here's the porch. Still got to tidy up the roof section on that, but where I've replaced the upright poles that were bundles of bamboo. That, of course, got reused and got incorporated up here. The original plan was to do the entire roof like that, but plastic sheeting, it's like, well, there's an opportunity to make a skylight. What else can I tell you about this? Well, the bamboo comes from this land. The stripped parts and bits get used as mulch. The bigger bits get used as sticks and things, and also for the construction. Then we've got the actual timbers. Dead eucalyptus trees are in abundance here, so there's not even killing a tree involved. So, yeah, screws, some of which were here, some are what Keith bought, and there's really sort of long nails incorporated into this. The wire, that was sourced from other things that were here that have disintegrated from several years ago. There used to be a huge canvas with a skull on it that was sort of nobody liked, and that got recycled. So some of the wood from the framing and these corner pieces, you can't really see that one, they got used to sort of keep this roof section square. And the little yellow jacket Botox came from that corner there. I was unaware when I was putting in push pins. Oh, this one, I don't know if you can see it, there's one there. The yellow jacket just disappeared. Well, it doesn't really show very well. So I can't blame them, can't get angry with them, because they thought their home was under attack. So they're just defending their position. But all throughout this entire process, it starts with visioning what you wish to create, and not thinking it, but allowing it to come as mind pictures. You could say it's spiritually guided, you could say it's all provided by nature. The original roof was from what was basically worn out pieces of canvas which the wind destroyed, but thanks to Julia from Simplicity Revealed, she gave me this really good quality clear plastic, which gave me the inspiration to create the skylight. It's a case of don't look too closely. It's not a sort of masterpiece in carpentry or anything. It's it's made using very limited amounts of tools and things, and in total it's cost under €10 to construct this. Imagine how much that would cost had I had to buy all the materials and of course probably try and think it. So the cost would have been far greater. Hello, we have a black helicopter coming across the border. Puppet masters for the New World Order. Be aware, there's always someone watching you. It's a paraphrase song on Royal by Weird Al Yankovic. I know I should have paused it really. So let's imagine yourself here. Imagine we're sitting here, I'm sitting this side maybe. Could even get a few more chairs. Imagine, let's go to this side as well. So it's not particularly big, but the roof goes out a bit further. Could probably get a few more seats in here as and when required. But imagine if this was a fully functional community with about 20 people, an errant community. That is what I am envisioning, that is what I am creating. Salvaging what can be salvaged on what was a community that fell apart, and going with build it and they will come. So just imagine that. Imagine being able to sit down and discuss things. But will Julian Cope? The group is called TEARDROP EXPLODES. I wonder what happens when a teardrop explodes. Maybe it would cause a flood. If you think where a teardrop comes from, it's around a sort of miniature dome, the waters that well up from below and become the waters from above. But the song, the third song on this album, Kill-a-Man-giro, is called Treason. The lyrics go on the lines of, I've been going through changes and I could swing for you. Now, that could be interpreted as throwing a punch at someone, or maybe the swing is a political swing and you go left or you go right. Certainly every story, let's turn the camera around. Certainly every story is inviting you to pick a side. I'm going to go with current phraseology, and let me put it this way. A true errant won't pick a side. A true errant will go their own way, hence build it and they will come. That song, Treason, is it real? Is it or is it treason? The answers are in there. It's until you realise, it's just a story. It's just a story. That is what Julian Cope wrote in the early 1980s. The most famous song of Teardrop Explodes is Reward. They can't have it, you can't have it, I can't have it too, until I learn to accept my reward. Make of that what you will, but I maintain the artist is just the medium of expression of something more, the art spirit, the oversoul perhaps. But I would also listen to Haha, I'm Drowning, the first song on the album. You ask me if I love you. Well, I don't think that's fair to criticise our love. It's a beautiful song, which then leads into a song called Sleeping Gas. It's just like you can turn Rafferty into a cereal. You can turn gravity into a cereal, to paraphrase the song. It's just like a cartoon by AAP. Huge clues are to be found in all art. But the true errant won't pick a side. Picking a side is a road to oblivion. It sets up a side where there is always, in a realm of duality, there will always be an opposing side, an opposite side, a different perspective. One that is fueled by defending a belief system. Would the true errants fall for that? There is the fall of man. Because you're being fooled, you're being invited to pick a side with all these stories until you realize it's just a story, as in the song Treason. There is your reason. And a reason is to re-sun. Let's talk about the sun. We could give it another name. We could give it Christ. Well, let's break down what actually is Christ. It is not I, but Christ within me, as Paul would say. That is the pull of the gut feeling. But of course, what comes from the gut feeling can be interfered with by the thinking it and problem solving it, rather than visioning it and allowing to go with what the body and the heart is telling the mind. That is to not pick a side. So the Christ, CHR, like chronology, another name for time, because everything is subject to time, everything is set in a period in time, for the ages, you could say. But after the CHR, of course, there is a little I, followed by a little S for spirit and a small t, which the capital T is the I, and you at your highest level. It's about rising within. The sun rises every day, but what is your day? What do you make of your day? It's like, I'm trying to think of the song lyrics now. It's just like a dream. It's oh so ethereal. You can turn gravity into a cereal. It's just like a dream. It's oh so ethereal. It's all illusion in a perceived reality which is holographic and a simulation. I refer you to Archaic's channel. Don't be put off by all the silly stories and things, because do you realize it's just a story about Jason? Consider the information which is watertight, and that won't lead to a flood. That will lead to going with the flow and seeing this reality for what it really is. And so I would recommend listening to Teardrop Explodes. I may do a breakdown of some of their songs. There's definitely hidden messages. In that song Sleeping Gas, it says, here comes a hand and my hand is just behind. Well, there's the hidden hand, and if you pick a side, you are the hand that is behind. It's a fully interactive realm. It's about taking active steps. But are you accepting a script in this world stage, not being a discerning actor? Because Hollywood reflects this. The actor that takes a bad script, that is the death of their career, is it not? They get heavily critiqued and slated. There's clues in everything if you have the perception to see beyond the veil, which hides and disguises so much. I've just been sat upon. I forgot, we can turn to, here's one of the fur babies, and there's another one there. So the community sitting area is sort of being put to use by the fur family. Two of them. I don't know where the third one is at the moment. They're getting bigger and bigger. So take that middle path. Be a true errant. Don't pick a side. The picking of a side leads to obliteration. And you probably will feel it. The secret, after all, is all in the feeling. But of course, this structure is far more than it would first appear. It is also a huge potential. It's create it, build it, and they will come for a start. It is visioning it. It is allowing it to come as mind pictures, which will give you the answers rather than trying to think your way out of it. As I've said on previous videos, do the unthinkable. It's reflected in the Enki story, or the Enoch story, and Enoch was not. There's the twist in the story. He was not. Depends how you hear these things and what you hear. Are you present? Are you here? And do you hear? They are there. There, you could say. But which spelling? Because it all sounds the same, does it not? But these things have more than one meaning. And if you penetrate beyond the superficial level of song lyrics, it reveals rather a lot. It is a great reveal. It helps your inner standing of things. So the Christ within, so it's time, it's your lower self with your lower spirit as a co-creator, a little T. It is all going on within. What is outside is a reflection. So you can believe what you want. I could have preconceived notions and believe and say, I believe it's fake, I believe this is genuine. I would actually reflect upon it and look at the deeper message that is being shown. Have a play with the name Julian, see what you come up with, for example, and a surname that sounds a little bit like message without the me. If you get my drift, you got to go with the flow, you see. What are we up to here? 13, is it 18? Yeah, it's 18 minutes. It's not very easy to see white numbers when I've got white background. Here we are, 19 minutes now. I've got the post in line with the where the numbers are appearing to me on this screen. Oh, here's the 3 down there. Junus, who is the sort of the chunkiest and heaviest. Oh, it's disappeared again. And over there, which one's which of these two? This is Charis I have on my lap, and Damiana is sitting over there. She's the female. Let's turn this round. Yeah, so I'll put the link into the Kill-a-Man-giro album and the song Treason. I've already let a few people know through various messenger chats and posts and things. So it was interesting, this topical story about how will Julian Cope, that this refers to. I've noticed in the comments how many people are now enacting a story of the fall of man, because you're picking a side. Some of you will believe it's controlled, some of you will feel it's genuine. At the end of the day, how does it really affect you? How does it affect your internal world? What are you importing? How are you feeling from that story until you realize it's just a story, it's just a story. A store eye. What are you storing? What are you taking in through these eyes? And are you making a judgment? Are you picking, or still picking from the fruit of the tree of knowledge? No ledge, no fear, being fearless, being real, the realization you are an errant, a true errant, an immortal soul who goes their own way and shows a way, which I hopefully have done adequately with this construction, and how this construction came about and how everything has fallen into place, rather than being fooled and falling for a story. So imagine this land has enough room for probably about 20 people. There is space to accommodate maybe 10 or more vehicles as well. I feel it would be a lovely location to get an archaics academy going, and because it is a community, an off-grid community basis, that is the solid foundation. Like in this material world, you have a solid foundation. That is what I am walking on. I have a physical body to interact in a physical reality. But imagine, what would it be like to be living where you've got natural water that's not treated, how it's not costing you anything for utility bills as such, because we use solar panels. Well, at least until 2040. After that, then we may have to modify things, but that's obviously with thinking of the way things may go. But I wouldn't put thoughts into that, especially from the negative of where do we go to in 2040. If you're a true errant, you already know that you have this aura around you. You have your own miniature version of a firmament, and nothing can harm you except that which you import inside yourself and feel as fear. False evidence appearing real. But you can overwrite the story until you realize it's just a story. But when you do realize it's just a story, can you not then pick up the pen and write your own story? Right the rights that right the wrongs, you could say, to sort of quote script from A Jester's Tear by Marillion. So there's an open invitation. If you wish to come to Portugal, my vision is to create an errants community, to start a pioneer blueprint for which it would develop like cells in the human body. One splits off and becomes two, which becomes four, and so on and so on. And we have a network, a web, within a web. This huge potential. Consider being able to just pick oranges off the tree, and pretty much being able to see everything you grow, that you then consume. You will know, apart from may or may not be in the rain clouds and the water that comes out of that. But apart from that,
you sort of know because you've planted the seeds, and you're not adding artificial anythings as such to anything that you grow, which you will then consume. You are what you eat, after all. There was something else, and it's escaped the mind. But of course, if I try and think it, it'll get lost. So whatever it is, I shall hold over to the next video. So remember, until you realize, until you realize, this one I would suggest. The one you can't see, the one that is in the metaphysical, but permeates into the material of this holographic simulation, or whatever you wish to see it as. It's a series of veils, just like any stage there is a curtain. So just as a recap, I wouldn't recommend Botox, but I'm not going to disturb them any further. They have as much right to build a home. They're reflecting what I'm doing, except the intention, the vision is to build a community. Imagine being in a world that is pretty much an Eden, that is not directly connected with the Matrix world, but it is a wheel within a wheel, of course. And it doesn't just have to be here, does it? It could be any location. If any of you have the will and the desire and are able to vision and co-create, what can be achieved? What can a true errant do? Is it not something worth putting to the test? That is a theme that is constant. Pick a side. You are being tested. As always, unconditional love to you all.